They still need some thought education. For example, watching some patriotic cartoons. There is this little character called the U.S. Constitution who explains American history. Seeing a totally wasted Bill of Rights, Lisa and Bart can't stop laughing. It is probably because they have been locked up for months and are losing their minds. Marge thinks they need to find a way out, but Homer is already completely numb. However, the crazy old guy next to them has something to say. He says there is a prisoner talent show tomorrow night, the perfect time to sneak out. The plan sounds solid, but this old guy's mental state is questionable at best. At the talent show the next day, Clinton stuffs 100 cigarettes in his mouth on stage. The ladies in the crowd go wild, while the Simpsons performance is a patriotic song, but the lyrics are actually mocking America. You can check it out for yourself. Don't move, you escaped, Simpsons. After the family broke out of prison, they realized there is always a bigger world out there. This prison was actually built on an island. Since they are officially fugitives, going back is suicide. The only way out is to swim for it. But where would they go? Maybe San Francisco. But how would they afford to live? They are forced to head toward Oakland. Suddenly, a ship appears that could save the family. Homer is worried that if they board, they will just be sent back to prison. But his fears are a bit unnecessary because this is a French ship and they aren't big fans of America either. Talk about perfect timing. Marge also wants to go to France. After living there for a while, Lisa falls in love with the bread. Marge loves the endless Chanel, and Homer never has to worry about people calling him fat anymore. There is a saying that goes, east or west, home is best. No matter how comfortable life is abroad, it's never as sweet as being back home. So, the Simpsons decide to return to the U.S. Going back legally would mean getting arrested, so unofficially smuggling themselves back seems like a pretty reasonable plan. Now, the Simpsons have a new look and are starting over as the Simps family. Regardless, the Simps family is finally back on track. After watching this episode, I bet patriotism is the only thing on your mind. Clearly, that is the theme here. It reminds me of how some intellectuals quote the British writer Samuel Johnson, who once said, "Patriotism is the last refuge of a scoundrel." They imply our patriotic education is just a cover for bad behavior. But was that Johnson's actual point? It is actually the exact opposite. Johnson himself was a staunch patriot. What he meant was that some people use patriotic feelings for personal gain, using it as a front to hide their selfish and barbaric behavior which can even harm society. In short, Johnson wasn't attacking all patriots. He was criticizing those who use the flag to hide their own greed. True patriots take real action to help their country. These intellectuals are the ones twisting Johnson's words to claim that any talk of patriotism is just being a thug. Speaking of which, in this era of debate, you've probably seen people claim American kids do a patriotic pledge every morning. So, just how far does American patriotic education go? Let's break it down. Starts in kindergarten and goes all the way through school. In the curriculum, American history. Every morning, they face the flag with their right hand over their heart and pledge loyalty to the Republic. This ritual starts in kindergarten and goes all the way through school. In the curriculum, American history is a required course. You must study American history to get credits. Credits are tied directly to your diploma. The content mainly focuses on the founding of the U.S. in one episode. Bart is desperately memorizing history, even using Washington's defeats as examples. But whenever City Upon a Hill is mentioned, Americans feel a surge of pride. Why? The concept comes from the Bible. Since the U.S. is largely Christian, they see the country as that city upon a hill. It is the lighthouse. They believe America is a chosen nation, and Americans are the chosen people. With that kind of superiority, it is hard not to be patriotic. Schools also take trips to D.C. to see the Lincoln Memorial, the White House, and more. This further builds a sense of national identity. In daily life, many sports events play the national anthem first. Like in this episode, before the girls' basketball game. There was another episode where they played it before a baseball game too. The Simpsons really is one of America's most iconic shows because it shows every side of American society. Plus, there are so many patriotic holidays like Independence Day, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, and so on. These holidays always come with patriotic speeches. And if we talk about pop culture, it's everywhere. Countless hoodies and hats in Hollywood's main theme movies are endless, from Saving Private Ryan to Top Gun. Ignoring the crazy weapons only military buffs understand. Most Americans walk away feeling full of pride. After all that, even non-Americans end up loving the U.S. Now you can see how thorough their patriotic education is. And that's only part of it. Things like the scouts and militias are also part of the machine. Looking at these examples, do you feel like their patriotism is missing something? Right? Because the U.S. has a short history, many races, and is an immigrant nation. Its patriotism can't naturally form through ancient ethnic identity. It has to be built through strong education to create that sense of unity. In other words, for our country, patriotism can flow naturally from history and identity. But for the U.S., it relies more on being intentionally built and reinforced. One is natural with a bit of help. The other is built with a bit of nature. Now, let's answer 9 questions you might have after watching this. First, why isn't it illegal to insult the U.S. flag? Actually, before 1989, it was illegal. But during Reagan's re-election campaign in 1984, a man named Johnson burned a flag to protest Reagan's policies. He was arrested for violating Texas law regarding flag protection. In court, his lawyer argued that burning the flag was symbolic speech and fell under freedom of speech. Texas argued that protecting the flag's dignity was necessary for national unity and order. Both sides held their ground. Ultimately, the Supreme Court ruled 5-4 that the Texas law was unconstitutional. The court believed freedom of speech doesn't just protect wise words, but also speech that is offensive or unpleasant. Personally, I think it is pretty abstract. I don't support insulting the flag. If offensive speech is protected, it can easily be used as a tool for hate and discrimination regarding race, gender, or religion. The second question you might have is, what's with Lenny's flag of faith? This refers to the 2004 presidential election.